Nantyfethlon Rugby Club is a local mining community in the heart of the Llinvi Valley. We've been on our present site since 1963 in a prefabricated building which was designed for 30 years. As you can tell by its design, the building is tired and we had to do something. The process started for us to develop a brand new community facility back in 2005 when we purchased some additional land. The project is anticipated to cost at around £1.3 million, and we've been helped and supported by Sewced. During the process we were helped by the team in Bridgend, Carly and Tracy, very valuable support, and as part of the process we were able to get £50,000 in grant funding. With the additional land that we had to sell, this is what is going to really fund the whole project as matched funding. As you can see, we're in the construction phase. Over my shoulder is the steel portal building that's going up, and we anticipate to be in the new facility middle of August. We needed to sustain the facility because, you know, in the rugby season alone we have on Sunday mornings over 200 children representing the club, and that bodes well for future rugby players. We have teams from under 7 through to under 16s. We have a youth team from 16 to 19 and 2 senior teams, and also we have a ladies team as well. So we serve the whole community in terms of rugby. There are also other community groups that use the facilities. We have a women's choir that practice here 3 times a week. The facility itself was vital. There's very little in the community of Nantyfethlon, very little in terms of building and facilities going forward. The clubhouse will be a valuable part of the community and will serve the community of Nantyfethlon well for years to come.
This project wouldn't really be viable without grants obtained from the likes of Sewced. Not only has it helped to safeguard jobs within our organisation, but it's also helped to create new roles specifically sourced for the project. I'd also like to reiterate the fact that all of the subcontractors on the scheme have been sourced from in and around the community. As you can see, the steelwork behind me is well underway, and all the materials have been sourced from local companies supporting the local economy. Thank you.
We've got far more business in now than we had back in 2012. The cafe itself has expanded due to the fact that we've been able to market as well, get some marketing done, and we've increased turnover within the cafe as well. The team themselves have been absolutely wonderful. They're totally different to any other funders because you feel that you can pick the phone up at any time and give them a call, and they're there and they can answer your questions and they help as well, and that's totally different to any other funders that you normally have. So it's been wonderful.
Basically, speaking on my own behalf, and I think I'm speaking on the village's behalf, I honestly believe this cafe is a godsend to betters, because myself personally, I'm a widower. I can come down here for a meal, I can have entertainment, I can have a laugh and a joke with the people behind the counter and with the people that come here, because it's a village cafe after all, and I wouldn't like to see nothing detrimental or anything happening to it. The food is good, so what more can I say?
My name is Sasha Efnoska. I work for Cumtals, and we're a social enterprise which has been funded by Sewced project. We've received funding for capital, which helped us to create the site that we have here, and revenue, which funded our salaries for the first 18 months. As a social enterprise, what we do, we have glamping in the form of yurts, so tourists come and visit us, and the tourism money then feeds into the social enterprise. We also run courses for people and environmental outdoor education projects for community members and community groups. So Cumtal originally started off delivering training courses for community groups and community members and working with volunteers. We were looking then for a model which would create an income for us to make us sustainable. Sewced's capital and revenue funding enabled us to get to that position, so that rather than just being a voluntary organisation run by volunteers, we were able to employ staff, and those staff then have continued to create a sustainable income for us. After 18 months of Sewced money and the original capital setup costs, we're now running at 71% sustainability, so that we're earning an income from the capital that we've managed to spend from Sewced. Without Sewced, we would have been a lot slower working. We'd have been relying on volunteers to start the business. I think we would have been a much smaller scale situation. We certainly wouldn't be at the sustainability levels that we are now. The great outcome from this, as a social enterprise, we are supported by our local community, and in turn, by bringing tourism to this area, we are supporting other local businesses. Tourists are coming from Manchester, Birmingham, London, a lot from the Greater London area. All of those people are new to Wales, they're new visitors, and they're coming because we're offering glamping, not because it's Bridgend. But when they arrive here, they're then finding Bridgend to be an amazing county with some brilliant small businesses. We've got local food shops, so by attracting those tourists, we are supporting local businesses. Particularly up the road from here, we have a microbrewery, and he's put on tours now for our guests. So it is great that we can feed the income that we're bringing to this county back into the community.
My name is Mike Clark, and I'm a director of the Y Centre here, and this centre is now thriving. We've carried out a major refurbishment programme, and we sought help through a package of funders, but the particularly helpful funding was the versatile funding we were able to get, and the help and support from Sewced. One of the particular things that helped us was in terms of some of the criteria we actually had to meet, which would ensure we had the right plans and processes and financial structures in place, and that has helped us to be a more robust organisation. We've got modern premises here, they're well supported by organisations. In terms of looking at the particular support that Sewced has helped us with, that has been around us being able to have a tapered support to employ members of staff, and we have employed a senior development worker to look at how the building and the usage was extended, and that in fact has been the lead in to us now employing other people. We've got an after school club running, we've got office staff, we've got computer club, and we see this increasing over the coming months. Had we not had that funding, then we would not have been able to have made the progress that we have made. The important thing now is for us to become commercially viable. We have achieved break even, and we expect over the next year to be able to survive without having to look for funding from outside organisations.
We provide support to homeless people in the County Borough of Bridgend. We're in the process of building our social enterprise, and our social enterprise at the moment consists of a number of retail outlets, and those retail outlets provide second-hand furniture, electrical items and various other household items to members of the general public. They can come in and they can buy those products. We were very fortunate to receive funding from the Sewced Fund, and although it was a tough thing to go through and there were lots and lots of application forms and we had to present to a panel, it was well worthwhile because we've been able to open a business in Maesteg Town Centre. The business has been open now for 3 months and it's been hugely successful. You can probably hear the noise behind me of the customers all in this store, the hubbub of activity. We're providing a much needed resource for people. Not only are we collecting unwanted, once loved items, including furniture, but we're renovating that furniture and we're presenting it for sale to members of the public here at this shop in Commercial Street. Without the Sewced grant of £22,500, which helped us refit this shop and to fit it out to a very good standard, we wouldn't have been able to do this, and there would be another empty shop premises on Maesteg High Street. So the local people here are absolutely delighted that we're here. They're really pleased with the products that we're able to offer them, and as I say, the takings have gone really very well. Not only that though, that we're providing volunteer opportunities for local people, and we've had a superb response there. We've got 10 volunteers on the books now, all of whom are local, are being trained up to a very high standard in customer service, furniture renovation, lots of different skills. But we've also provided two positions, two full jobs for local people as well. We've got a full-time manager here, and we've got a part-time deputy manager here. The business has been so successful that we've had to take on an extra van, and we will be buying that van in the next month. We'll be recruiting an additional driver and helper as well, and again that's with the help of the Sewced revenue grant. So all in all, what can I say? It's been a fantastic experience. We've been very fortunate, and the Sewced grant has allowed us to develop our business and produce money for the charity to help our future development.
The economic benefits of the programme, obviously, firstly, we were able to assist older people to remain independent and safe in their own homes. Secondly, we were able to support the economic regeneration of the county borough by obviously purchasing materials, etc. from local businesses, and also employing additional staff and volunteers to help with the service. We employed 5 additional staff, and we have 1 volunteer with us at the moment. Future plans for the enterprise is quite exciting because locally, I think first of all the funding helped us to really promote the service. It raised our profile, and I think it's given a lot of confidence in terms of bringing in local funding and other funding sources to boost the service. We've also looked at our charging policy, and we're more confident now to go forward with a firm business model based on a social enterprise basis. So we are beginning to develop an effective charging policy. Importantly, the support that we received from Sewced, not only the funding but the guidance from the Sewced team, gave us helped us to strengthen our infrastructure. We looked at governance, we looked at staffing, we looked at funding, future funding opportunities, links with the community, and I think it's really provided the impetus to allow us to have the confidence to go forward as a sustainable organisation and brokering in capital funding and entering into contracts with local authorities and other organisations.
Liberty Horses first approached Sewced for funding at the end of 2012 for a feasibility study. The project that Liberty Horses deliver is an innovative idea using horses and natural horsemanship techniques to develop soft skills and employability skills, primarily in disadvantaged young people. So the feasibility study carried out market research that showed that it was a viable idea. So this enabled Liberty Horses to approach Sewced again for funding for wages and capital that were necessary to get the business off the ground and up and running. So currently we have 2 staff employed and also a job created through Jobs Growth Wales programme. We see about 5 groups a week at the moment that would be categorised as vulnerable groups. Among the students that have attended Liberty Horses, some have already re-engaged in school or further education. To become a sustainable organisation financially, we also pursue income generating services, which include pony parties, lessons for private clients, horse training, and also going to events and shows.
The students are basically from Bridgend PRU. They're all out of mainstream school because it wasn't suitable to them. They come to Liberty Horses every single week, and they have done now for half a term. Their anxiety levels and their confidence has really improved around the horses. The transference of the skills then with people and people in the community has really benefited them. It's been absolutely excellent to see their self-esteem, their motivation, their enthusiasm really rise on a week-to-week basis.
We applied for funding via Sewced to set up a social enterprise, and we managed to get 65,000 over 2 years. And that has enabled us to set up a business project coordinator and equipment, also buying a van.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm the business development coordinator, which has been funded through Sewced. I've been in post since April, where we now have 107 clients, 8 members of staff including myself, and the rest are part-time. So it's enabled us to get all off the ground, to be able to buy all the equipment and the van. This is Mrs. Bond, who is one of our clients.
Time service has really enhanced my life tremendously, because I'm a newcomer to this area. In order to get out and make friends and get to know people, but to know that my floors and the basic cleaning is done every week is a tremendous help to me. So I am really very grateful to Time Savers.
We support young people with learning disabilities access mainstream leisure and life skill activities. To fund those activities, we've set up a separate trading arm called First Link Trading, which is the umbrella organisation for any social enterprises we develop. And we're currently running with 2 social enterprises. One of them is called Link Up Care, and the other one is called First Link Trading DigiLink. We recently received funding from Economic Development Unit, the Sewced project. We were funded for £79,000 over 3 years. £12,000 of that was to do capital funding for work on our centre. Also, we had 3-year revenue funding for salary support. The result of that funding has allowed us to increase our turnover and sales income to just under £300,000, which has been an increase of 42%. Within the 3 years. We're still only 2.5 years into that funding. But more importantly, it's allowed us to increase our workforce from 13, where we were originally, up to 21 we are now employing. That's an increase of 6 full-time employees. The plan for us for the future, now we're in a situation where the business is continuing to develop. We are looking to move the same businesses into Neath and Port Talbot and other joining local authorities, but purely due to the fact that we've had an ability to increase our earning potential through the funding we've had of Sewced.
I'm Derek Walker, I'm Chief Executive of the Wales Cooperative Centre. We've worked since the mid-90s with Bridgend County Borough Council, and it's a strong two-way relationship. So we've supported the borough with secondments to the county borough. We operate an agreement where we provide support services to social enterprises in Bridgend, but also we take part in the local social enterprise network and sit on the social enterprise grants panel. So it's been a good, strong two-way relationship over many years. The Sewced programme and the Wales Cooperative Centre's Social Enterprise Support Programme work together very well. So, for example, the Sewced programme can provide revenue funding to a social enterprise to employ a business development manager, and our programme can come in beside that and provide support to the growth plans of that business, for example with business planning and access to finance and financial planning. So there's a real complementary approach which focuses on jobs and growth in the local area. Grants can be really important for social enterprises because they're not automatically able to access owner investment in the way that other businesses can. So grants can be particularly important at startup stage where there is no or little trading history. So social enterprises aren't then able to go and get a loan because they're seen as being too risky. But grants can also help at that startup stage and enable those businesses to move on to access debt finance from other providers. So it's crucially important to the growth plans of social enterprises that they can access grants.